Welcome to Watch It or Don't. I'm Matt, here with Kat.
Hello.
And today we'll be doing a spoiler review for Wonder Woman.
Spoilers.
So you've been warned. This is a big deal. This is the Wonder Woman movie.
The Wonder Woman movie.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Especially for this DC universe.
Right. This is the fourth movie in the DC universe. It follows up Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, and now this. Yep.
And it's nice. I think one thing it benefits from kind of right off the bat is that it's a standalone.
Right.
That's one of the big questions, spoiler-wise, is that do we get to see any of the other Justice League members? No, it all just focuses on Wonder Woman.
Which I like.
Which is great.
Yeah.
You do see at the very beginning of the film an armored car from Wayne Enterprises that is bringing Wonder Woman something. It turns out to be the photo print from that World War I photo we saw in Batman vs. Superman.
Right.
And in it there's a note saying, one day I'd really like to know your story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much the whole movie.
Right. So it starts off as with Wonder Woman as like a young, probably like 4 or 5 year old, and she's just kind of watching other people training.
Other Amazons?
Yeah, and she's just kind of, you can just tell she has this like feeling inside. She's
spunky.
Like, this is what I want to do, and she tries to practice like mimicking their moves and stuff. It's cute.
We learned she's the only child on the island because her mother asked Zeus to sort of breathe life into the clay model that she was. So Zeus is her father in a way, which is a big deal because sort of in that origin story we learn that there was a huge war. Ares got jealous of man, and it was a big fight between Ares and Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
And Zeus's last dying sort of breath as he was killing Ares created a god killer, which we think are weapons, but turns out to be Wonder Woman. I don't think that's a huge upset there. I think people kind of figured that out. In the movie, they make it a much bigger deal.
Right.
Because she is this sort of weapon from the gods to fight Ares one day, her mom does not want her to get involved with any type of fighting.
Right.
And we learned that right off the bat because her aunt.
Her aunt is played by Robin Wright, and she's kind of like that mentor to Wonder Woman.
The fighting mentor.
Yeah, so whereas like her mom is more of the voice of reason, of being like, don't fight. I guess Robin Wright's character, her aunt, is more of like the, let me show you how to become the best that you can be. Which,
once you know that she's the weapon, it makes a lot of sense that you would want to train her, not hide her hoping that Ares never emerges one day.
Right.
So there's a big argument with her mother whether or not she's going to fight. Sort of, that kind of ties in with that. That same day, out of the sky, a plane crashes, and it's Chris Pine.
Right.
And
he sort of discovers their world.
Their island, Themyscira.
Yeah.
And from there, Wonder Woman saves his life.
Yep.
Which is famous from the comics. It's actually World War II in the comics, but for this movie, it's all set in World War I.
Right.
Which I think is a good choice. Mainly because, unlike World War II, where there's a clear bad guy, the Nazis, everyone's sort of to blame in World War I. No one's really better than sort of the rest.
Yeah.
And that is a good sort of sticking point because Wonder Woman kind of understands that all mankind kind of has a problem with war.
Yeah. So basically, after she saves Chris Pine, that sort of brings in other soldiers, other German soldiers into their world, which
Chris Pine's been chased by the Germans. He's
right,
a spy.
he's a spy. So that sort of creates this big fight between these Amazonians and the German soldiers.
Which have guns, and they've never seen that before.
No, so you see some pretty sweet fight choreography, though.
It is really
some sweet bow and arrow stuff going on.
But unfortunately, the bullets, which you would assume would be probably better than the bow and arrows.
They were going toward Wonder Woman,
right.
And her aunt jumps out in front basically to sacrifice herself in order to save Wonder Woman, so she does die.
She's the first casualty in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a huge spoiler, but it's one good one to know.
Right. It sort of is like what starts Wonder Woman's journey into
the
our
world of man. Yeah, the real world. So they decide to leave the island. Her mom's not thrilled about that. Wonder Woman steals the magic rope, her lasso of truth, her shield, and a sword, because she believes those are the god-killing weapons.
And then as she gets on her boat is when her mom
basically says you can never come back.
Yeah, she basically is like, I'm not happy about this, but I understand that there's nothing that I can do to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And she also gives her her aunt's headband, which is the iconic Wonder Woman headband, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They go to the world of man, and they go to London first, as you've seen in the trailers. And there they meet a Lord Patrick, who
was played by David Thewlis.
Yes, you might know him from Harry Potter.
Yeah, Professor Lupin.
Yes, great actor, great actor.
Right.
He's very obviously against the war, like everyone. He wants to pass sort of the armistice as fast as possible. And the big spoiler with him is that he's actually Ares.
Right.
And I feel like if you watch the movie, you can kind of pick up on that.
So you kind of go throughout the movie thinking that maybe the bad guy is like this...
It's the German general.
Right.
They try to make you think that, but it seemed a little too clean.
Yeah, they put so much focus almost on David Thewlis' character being like a spokesperson of peace that you're like, I don't know about that. I don't know.
And the main reason that he is trying to act so peaceful is because he's trying to get Wonder Woman to see that even if you try to bring peace with man, they're still going to fight anyway, kind of turning her against the humans.
Right.
Because he needs her to kind of restart the world and destroy all the humans, if you will.
Right.
Obviously, at the end of it, he dies.
Yep.
Which, if you think about it, makes World War II seem a little weird. Who knows if he does die? That was one thing that kind of bugged me with the movies. That it's cool that it's set in World War I, but kind of makes all the other wars in history seem a little...
How did that happen?
Wait a minute. I mean, not that it couldn't have happened other ways,
Right.
but still an interesting thing. Not only does he die, but Chris Pine dies.
He sort of sacrifices himself in order to help save...
Well, it's kind of generic. It's very much like Captain America. It's him killing himself on a plane that's going to bomb London, the same way in Captain America it's going to bomb New York.
Yeah,
so that felt very the same.
Like, the last thing that he says to her is something pretty cliche, like, I'm going to save today, but you are going to save the world.
Right, or you can save tomorrow, I think, too. Or
yeah,
I can't remember. It's
like
something
that.
really hokey like
it's
that.
Something hokey like
we
that.
just kind of roll your eyes, and he gives her his watch, which made me think of Pulp Fiction with Christopher Walken and had me laughing just a little bit. Not the right time in the movie, I know.
But that all being said, I do think that Chris Pine and Gal Gadot both did a really good job in this movie.
Oh, God, yeah.
So did David Thewlis, so did Robin Wright.
All the casting is
The casting was
amazing.
really great.
I would just think it just seems a little kind of overdone. Like, it wasn't anything you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Which is too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know the Wonder Woman story, you're not going to be surprised by anything, and it's just an origin story.
Right.
That's kind of what it is. I mean, it was enjoyable. I think my rating overall, I give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think that might be a little generous because I really wanted this to be good.
It's always hard going right out of a movie.
It is.
You have
I think it could be a 6 out of 10 eventually, but for right now, coming sort of fresh off the movie, 7 out of 10. What would you give it?
I think I'd give it a 7 out of 10 as well. Like you said, it might go down over time, but I think that's roughly where all of those movies in the DC universe have landed for me. Like this chunk of movies have all been like somewhere between a 6 and a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I liked that it solely focused on Wonder Woman. I think that her character has an interesting enough story that she deserved to have her movie of her own that wasn't really like crowded by other characters that were trying to take the attention away from her.
That's true.
So I did enjoy that. Overall, I think that the movie was really, it was, like you said, the casting was really great, and I liked the story for the most part. It got kind of long, to be honest. There were no after credit scenes, so don't
stick around.
There's no
DC is too good to
They're
do
better
that.
than that.
Right.
So, it's so hard for me because I think when you leave one of these movies, it's really hard. I know it's not a Marvel movie.
No,
it's not an MCU movie.
Don't compare them.
But it's like, I wish that they were that good. You know what I mean? I feel like we talked about when the movie got out, we're like, this movie was set on a bad foundation.
Right.
And we're like, it's hard because those other 3 movies were just not that good.
A lot of people will argue with that, but honestly...
They're fine.
They're fine.
I enjoyed them, but like, there's just something missing, and I don't know what it is yet. And maybe someone in the comments can tell me what's missing because I don't know what it is. Like, I leave the movie and I'm like, there's just I want more.
The worst part is that they have our money.
They
because
do.
we do
They
love
do.
DC, and we're always going to come for that no matter what.
Right. But I don't know. I feel like I'm giving it like a hard time right now. I did enjoy the movie, and I do think it was worth seeing. It comes out on June 2nd, which is next weekend.
Yep.
Definitely worth a watch.
Be sure to check that out. Leave us a comment if you have any questions about anything else in the movie. Thanks. This is Watch It or Don't.